Well, hello. How are you? I am your host, Tiffany Bethia, and you are watching the very first launch broadcast of Spirit Soul Business TV. And guys, this is just a basic hangout that we're going to be doing every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get to the bottom line of your bottom line. I am your Spirit Soul Business Coach. And for those of you who are new to the idea of Spirit Soul Business Coaching, I really bring together the concepts of personal development and business development. You know, one thing that I always talk about is the fact that as entrepreneurs, small business owners, and aspiring entrepreneurs, we are our businesses. And so as we grow, our businesses grow. And truthfully, our businesses will never outgrow us. And so we've got to be at the forefront of change and growth. And so I bring together what I call the head, heart, and hands essentials to really help entrepreneurs grow their businesses and themselves from the inside out. And so that's where the notion of Spirit Soul Business Coaching has come from. And again, our Spirit Soul Business TV is really just going to be a broadcast, for us to hang out every Monday and really discuss what's going on in your business. So today's topic is for authors, and I am so excited because, you know, book publishing is on the rise and independent authors are just everywhere, but I'm constantly meeting people who have written a book, launched the book, book's not selling after some time. What do I do? How do I get these books out to the readers? And so we are going to talk about, I wrote the book, now what? Now what do I do? So if you're taking notes, I'm going to give you 4 steps, and I really hope that you're taking notes. And, you know, please keep in mind that the replay will be available, but if you're catching the content fresh, I want you to jot down some things as it's coming to you. Also, I want to make mention of the fact that you see in the description there our private Facebook group. That's right, private access. I want you to, if you haven't already joined, go click the link for our Facebook group. Go in there live right now while we're doing this broadcast. I'm there and your fellow viewers are there. We're going to be posting questions and comments, and I'm going to be dialoguing right back with you in the group while this broadcast is taking place. So go ahead now, do that. Take a moment to get in the Facebook group. That way this can be an interactive discussion and you can be a part of the dialogue. Long after the video is over, you guys are going to still be able to dialogue with me. I'll be there for hours and hours answering your questions and dialoguing with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. Today we're going to talk about 4 powerful things, and they're going to be: 1, define your audience; 2, write the plan; 3, grow your voice; and 4, build your stage. Okay? So they're going to be: define your audience, write the plan, grow your voice, and build your stage. Okay? So guys, let's talk about defining your audience. Now, if you have watched any of my broadcasts, seen me speak live, or been a part of my community for any amount of time, you have probably heard me use the word niche only a million times, okay? Or target audience. And I use them both. So you already know where I'm going with the question. Who is your book for? Now, I know, everyone can get something out of your book. And I do believe that. But the truth of the matter is there is a target audience. There's a segment of the larger population that is going to be attracted to and receive the most from your book. So you've got to start out there. Who is the book really written for? Now, you're going to find that this is really going to be a combination effort. This is going to be a combination of who you set out to write the book for and who else really can gain information from the book that you didn't really consider. So let me break this down. First of all, I want you to realize that you've got to get very, very specific about who you're writing your book for. Women, men, youth, not really specific enough audiences. And so a lot of times I talk to people and they say, oh, I wrote this book for women. What women, what income level, what career, what interest, what marital status, what demographic, what area, what region, what women is this book for? So you've got to get very clear on who are you intending to pick this book up and see themselves in it and really, really gain from the information that you're providing, whether it's a novel or self-help. Your book is really written for someone, and it's going to magnetically attract someone. Now, one thing that I always tell people, especially authors, is that, you know, it's hard for us to separate and be objective to the work. So you really, you know, I recommend getting a test audience, pulling together, you know, 6 to 10 if you can, individuals who can read your book or even a snippet and really, really say what they got from it and who they think. You know, you can share with them, look, this is my target audience. This is who I am looking to impact with this book. I want you to read it and tell me if you think this is going to land in their lap effectively. And then so also I recommend getting a mix of a demographic within that test group. So maybe you've got, you know, some people who are in the age group and in the income level and interest, and then you've got some people who are not and who can objectively say, well, this is what I got from the book, this is what I took from it, and this is how I think that target audience will be effective. So, you know, defining your target audience really, really, really has to be kind of quite a strategic process, I'll say, and not just taking from what you think and who you intended for the book to be for, but really the information in there who it's actually going to attract. So when I wrote my book, I Decided to Live, you know, this is something I learned firsthand because I intended for it to be for young women, but I found that through my experiences, young divorcees and single moms in particular were attracted to and really received the most from my book. So even now, 2 years later, as I still promote it and share, and I'm actually repackaging it for a second reprint, I have found that going into those audiences is most effective. Now, you know, are there going to be people outside of your target audience who are absolutely attracted to your book? Of course, you know, and you want that, and you know that's going to happen, but you've got to tailor make your bait, and we'll talk about that a little bit when we talk about writing the plan, excuse me, when, you know, rather, who the book is for, okay? So define your target audience. Who is really going to enjoy this book? You know, and I want to also insert here that if your book has already been released, it's already been out for a while, you've already been selling books, don't be afraid to still take part in this process. So this is really not just for those who have gotten here at the ideal time because the book is not out yet. But if your book's already out, you've been selling it, like my book is a few years old or even more recent, you know, it's okay to still be rebranding, or not necessarily rebranding, that's not what I want to say, but to be, you know, relaunching or continuing the sale of your book. So, you know, here's a true fact. Book promotion is really, really a journey and a process. And so long after the launch, you're going to still be coming up with initiatives and efforts that are going to be promoting and pushing your book and making sure that it's getting where you want it to go. So it's okay, you know, after the fact, a year later, to put together a test market and say, who do you think this is really for? And then continue efforts that are specific to them if you haven't already carved out your niche. Maybe your book came out a year ago, but you just were kind of promoting it to everyone or not promoting it as much, and you want to continue to promote it, it's okay to go ahead and do that. So, you know, be strategic about finding out who's going to be the best audience for your book, who's really able and who's really going to desire to purchase it, to read it, to get something from it, okay? So that's number one, define your audience. And guys, there's so much more I could say there, but gotta keep it short. I don't want to keep you here all night. So I want you to be, this is where we interact a little bit. I want you to tell me right now in the group, if you have, first of all, I forgot to do this. If you're an author and you're in the group and you're watching this right now, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're located. And tell us about your book or your books. Okay, so do that, and then I want you to also tell us who your target audience is, whether you've defined it, or if you're not sure, I want you to tell us in the group right now. Okay, so give us your name, your location, your book that you're working on, or that's already out, and give us your target audience. If you're not sure, say, I don't know, Tiffany, I'm still figuring it out. Or if you know, tell us it's young single moms who are looking to launch a business, or single fathers raising daughters, whatever it is. Okay? So define your audience. Then the next one I want to share is write your plan. Now, before I really get to the plan part, I want to take a moment to really impart to you why writing it down is so important. You know, statistics show that you're 80% more likely to achieve what is written down. And I know you're excited about your book. I know you cannot wait to get it out there to the world. But the truth of the matter is you need some accountability. And you've got to have the plan written down. And I'd even share it with an accountability team, you know, of people who can assist you or just encourage you to make sure that you're moving the book how you desire to move it. Okay? So that's a quick moment on just writing it down. But let's talk about the plan for your book. So you've got to set a real goal for why are you writing the book? Why are you taking the time and the effort to pen it and to get it printed and published and all these things? What are you really looking for to happen from your book? Okay? So, you know, are you looking to have a bestseller? Are you looking to launch or make this a part of your speaking platform? Is it about self-actualization and just a fun project and just something you've always wanted to do? Based upon your goals, that's really going to determine how you map out your plan. You know, you want to set something very measurable. How many books per month would you realistically like to sell? And then so based off of that, we really determine the plan, okay? If I want to sell 100 books every month, I've got to make sure that I'm getting in front of enough people. Now, I'll tell you this, as you start out, you start working your plan, you're going to want to begin to track your conversion rate. So if I go to an event with 100 people and I sell 50 books, I know that I'm moving about 50%, and that's really ideal, by the way. But more realistically, it might be about 20 to 25 out of that 100. If I go, so then I can know that when I go before an audience or I go to an event, I'm going to probably move about 20 to 20% based on the attendance. So as you begin booking different events, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the next 2 points for a moment, but as we're setting measurable goals, when we begin getting out there and working the plan a little bit, you want to realistically see what's my conversion rate so that I know if I want to meet this, if I want to meet this goal every month and I want to sell 100 books and my conversion rate is about 20%, then we can put a realistic number there that, yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Right? I'm so calculator. Is anybody else calculator dependent? If you're calculator dependent, I want you to post it in the group right now. That's me too. I'm calculator dependent. But you know realistically that you're going to need to be in front of enough people that you can sell 100 books. Okay? So make it measurable. Make it realistic for your time. How much time do you have? Are you a weekend warrior? Are you a full-time entrepreneur? Are you part-time? How much time can you devote to selling your book? Because that's going to also tell you how you need to maneuver your time. How many events can you do per month? You know? Because I will tell you that, so with writing your plan, and this is jumping ahead just slightly, but building your voice is going to be one of the biggest things to selling your books. Now, we'll get to that a little bit later. So why am I referencing events? Because people will come to your website and purchase books as well, but it's really going to be in connection with you and you building your brand that people are buying the events. So you got to be out there meeting people where your target audience is so that you can move your books, okay? So write out your plan. The other part that's really important, and why we started off with define your audience, is really going to be how do we get to the people that we're looking to purchase our book. So, you know, if I'm writing to a senior audience, Facebook and Twitter may not necessarily the best way to reach them. But if I'm looking to gain access to youth audience, that's probably going to be how I get to them. So, you know, is there a professional association or some other interest group, whether it's faith-based or, you know, a sorority or something of that nature that's going to allow you access to who you are looking to get your book. Why is that important? Because individual sales, guys, not the way you want to go. You are going to want to target pockets of people, pockets of your target audience all together, and you're going to want to go there and maximize your time. I mean, think about it. Is it easier to go door to door, just sell one book at a time, or can you set up an event and go speak to 100 people and sell 25 to 50 books, right? So we want to work smart and not hard. So, you know, I am one who really encourages partnership. Now, let me say here that as a part of your plan, you know, you really, really, really want to consider who else can I partner with? Who else can I tap into their audience or network with them that this person has is a person of influence over my target audience group, okay? So you want to consider that in how you write out your plan. Your friends and family are going to be a great starting point. They're going to help you get those first sales. They're going to bring that word of mouth. But beyond that, into the cold market, you're going to really want to know who can I tap into, who can I touch to get to my target audience. So if it's teens, is it a school, mentoring program, youth, so that I'm hitting a whole pocket of my target audience at one time, okay? So write out your plan. This is so important so that you can look up in 3, 6, 12, 18, 24 months, you are still moving books. They're not just sitting in the kitchen or oh, that book I wrote some time ago, but nobody's reading it right now. Now, again, this is congruent with your goal. If you're looking for it to be a bestseller, maybe 100 a month is not enough. Maybe you're looking to sell 100 a day. So your plan and your course of action is really going to be congruent with that. Versus if you're really just looking to sell a few books and this is a personal project, then you may not have to take or invest in the same course of action of somebody who's looking to have a bestseller. You guys with me so far? If you're in the group, I want you to hashtag I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm still here. Okay? So we've talked about the fact that you've got to define your audience and the fact that you've got to write the plan. I want you to tell me right now in the group, how many of you have a written plan for your book? If your book is already out, or even if you're still working on it, I want you guys to tell me, how many of you have actually taken the time to write out your plan? So tell me in the group, I have a plan, or not yet, I don't have one. I'm just curious to see how many of you actually already have a marketing plan for your book, okay? And let me also say this. This comes to mind as I say that. Having a marketing and having a PR plan is not the same, okay? So your PR is going to be the spotlight that shines on your book, but the marketing is going to be the plan that turns suspects into prospects into buyers. So it's going to be the thing that once people know about your book from your PR promotional efforts, what happens and what takes place to move them along into getting them to buy and to tell other people. So don't be confused on that and by thinking, well, you know, I have a plan, I'm going to this radio station, I'm going to this TV. Great, so you're getting the spotlight shined on your book. Okay? What's going to happen from that spotlight being shined on? How do I turn the now suspects and the people who are wondering about the book into those who will purchase and become a part of the larger movement that I'm creating with this book? Okay, so if you have a PR plan, that is wonderful, but you are going to also need a marketing strategy for how to actually move and sell your books. Okay, guys, so we're at the halfway point, or maybe almost a little bit further beyond, but we've talked about defining your audience and talk about writing your plan. Now I want to talk about growing your voice. I'm going to switch and go to growing your voice. I'm going to come to building your stage in a moment. Growing your voice is really important. And, you know, guys, I came across this article when I was writing my book that I thought was really interesting. And one of the points I thought was a little harsh. I'm going to share it with you, though. The guy said, nobody cares about independent authors. Right? I was like, what does he mean by that? My face hit the floor, as yours probably just did. So, but this is what, in essence, he was saying. He said that, you know, as an independent author, it's your voice, it's growing your voice that is going to really move your books. So, you know, if Oprah or, you know, Bill Gates puts out a book, people are going to buy it, and it's not just going to be the book title itself. It's going to be their personal brand that really causes people to take action and buy the book. Well, the truth of the matter is it's the same thing for you. And so though your reach or your following may not be as large, you have a following. So the idea is to really grow that, and that really has to be at the forefront of your marketing strategy. Is not just who can I tell about the book, but who can I tell about the message that I have inside of me? Who can I tell that I'm an expert on this topic? What's your topic? As a matter of fact, let's talk about that. I want you to tell me right now in the group, what is your topic? What are you the expert on? Or what are you becoming the expert on? Or what are you passionate about? Don't think that, you know, well, I'm not the expert, I don't know that much, I'm just sharing. Well, that's fine, because you're giving your perspective. So tell me in the group right now, I'm really interested to hear what your topic is. Okay? So go ahead and do that. Tell us what your topic is. Tell us what you are becoming the expert on. So when we talk about growing our voice, we're letting the world know that, hey, you can look to me for this. That if you've got a business or if you've got some product or service, I'm the person that's going to be able to help you put that marketing strategy together to grow it so that you really make the money you want to make, right? Whatever it is for you. Let people know about what it is they should come to you for and what you're the expert on. Because that, in essence, is really going to move those books that you're selling. Now, if you've got a dual brand, like I actually do, I do have a for-profit and a nonprofit that are connected and similar but different and serve different audiences. You know, so I had to learn how to balance my voice to two. So I'm a marketing consultant and I help entrepreneurs grow their business, but I also have an organization that helps young women and single mothers grow their personal lives. Key word, if you noticed, it was grow. So I've had to brand myself as the person who helps you grow, whether it's personally or professionally. So if you've got a dual brand, and maybe the book that you're writing about isn't connected to your career, or maybe it is, or when you're looking to launch, don't be afraid to brand yourself in that way and say, I know you guys think, you know, I'm a teacher, but I'm also a gardener, and I can teach you how to be a green thumb, whatever it is. You know, so make sure that you align your brand so that's congruent and people can now learn to know, like, and trust you for that topic. Okay? So grow your voice. Now, I highly recommend blogging for this. I really, really do. And, you know, so you're going to want to use, again, I also recommend video. Why? People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And this includes purchasing books. So, you know, watching video allows people to really get the buy-in and know, like, and trust you and buy into you personally a lot faster than just reading text or seeing a picture of you. So by creating a video, people get to really see and feel and sniff you out and see what you're about. And guess what? That's the voice they're going to hear in that book. It's going to be really important that you connect the two. Okay? The other real benefit to blogging, video blogging and things through video, namely especially YouTube, is that it's going to help organically increase the search engine results. So whether it's your name, the topic, your title, when people put that in now, your YouTube videos are going to pop up right at the top. So I tried this. You know, before I launched into business full time, I Googled my name. Not much came up. Then about a year later, I tried it again, and ooh, wow, so much more came up. And then a year later, I tried it again, pretty much all me, right? Few other things in there now, but for the most part, my video, my content comes up at the top. So you have the ability to really control that, and this is powerful when you talk about book sales. People may want to Google your name, and maybe they're, you know, it's a school or an organization that wants to buy mass books, and they Google you, and they find these videos of you sharing your message. Oh yeah, we've got to get this book, okay? So blogging is a really powerful way to get your voice out there to let people know this is why you should buy my book. This is why you should really be a part of the overall movement that I'm putting together from this book. And that's especially important if you're looking to not just write one book, but write a series of books and just continue your authorship. Yeah? So I want you to tell me now in the group, how many of you currently blog and share content? And this is a good way to promote because if you do, give us the link where we can see your content and we can share it with people who can really benefit from it, okay? So if you're still with me in the group and you're still watching, I want you to give me hashtag I'm still here, hashtag I'm still here, okay? And let me tell you, for those of you who are actively posting in the group, don't be afraid and don't think you're alone. I've done many of these events and had 100 people on the broadcast watching and 5 or less even posting. And it's understandable. People post at different times, so don't feel afraid to be the Lone Ranger or one of the main ones in the group posting, I'm still here, and thinking you're by yourself. I promise you're not. So we've talked about defining your audience. We've talked about writing the plan. Yes, writing the plan. We've talked about growing your voice. The last component to that that's really important is building your stage. Why is this important? Well, for those of you who are looking to either grow or start a speaker platform, somebody actually asked me today at a lunch meeting, should I, do my own events until people invite me to speak at theirs? And I said, absolutely yes. We hit the nail on the head. That's what I recommend people to do. I'm definitely an advocate for until a door opens, build one, cut one in the wall, and until you get invited to other stages, get a nail and some wood and build your own, right? And that's certainly how I launched my speaker platform as well. I literally had one big conference of my own and literally got invited to stages and just kept getting invited after that, and that momentum just continued to push. And even throughout the course of me growing that speaker platform and being invited to other stages, I still do my own, whether it was a workshop or some virtual event, and it would still increase the momentum for people inviting me to their stages. So I'll even tell you that, in my experience as a booking and event person, I would also look at that, what stages are you on? And if it's your own, there's credibility in that as well. There are still people watching. So if you're looking to grow that, you want to speak, you want to take this book and hit the road, and the phone's not ringing yet, get out there and put your own stage up and begin to speak. Host a virtual call, host a Google Hangout, host something in person where people can come and hear your voice. Maybe it won't be your target audience that comes and bites, but maybe it will be other decision makers. So I had that happen. We had an event, and to be quite transparent, the attendance wasn't really what I wanted it to be, but it was nice and intimate, and it was effective, but there was a decision maker in the room. And she was slightly outside the target audience, age-wise, but she came and she sat in and listened, and she invited me to actually host an event for her organization. So, you get that dual effect happening when you, in fact, set up your own stage. So don't be afraid. Set up your own stage. And don't be, concerned about the numbers. If, don't be afraid to start small and build. If you're new and you're building your voice, it's okay to have 10 people on your line, but they really gain content and they go tell 10 other people. What happens when you start with 10 and they tell 10 and they tell 10 and they tell 10, right? I personally know the effects of that. So don't be afraid to get out there and build your own stage. So in wrap up, we talked about the fact that we've got to define our audience. And don't be afraid to get a test group to help you really figure out who's going to really honestly be attracted to, purchase, and get something from my book. 3. There we go. All right, guys. Then we talked about the fact that we have to write the plan. You may have it in your mind. You may see in your mind, but write it out, share it, get some accountability, okay? 3rd, you want to grow your voice. It's going to be your voice that's going to move units of books. And the more you grow your voice and your reach, the more books you're going to sell. Honestly, I'm sold out now. I'm actually about to do a new second edition edit of my first book. 2 years later, it's my voice that's really moving those books. Absolutely. And fourth, you want to build your own stage. And I'll tell you, this is, even if you already have a thriving speaker career, I promise you, it will only kick it to the next level. This is why, even though I have a speaking career, full-time entrepreneur for myself, and speaking is a large part of that, I still to this day put up my own stage constantly to share content to my target audience and to other decision makers. Okay? Guys, I hope that you got something. I want to encourage you to continue in the Facebook group. I'm going to still be here, guys, even beyond you all watching this episode. Share your questions. Share your ideas with each other. Tell us about your book title. Tell us about your project so that we can network and really, really conduct this, so that we can really be a part of what you're doing. So if you want more information about what I'm doing, you can find me at www.tiffanybethia.com. You can also find me on social media at Tiffany L. Bethia. That's TIFFANYLBETHEA. And we'll be here every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we're going to be talking about marketing sucks. So hopefully you're catching this broadcast live before our next one airs on Monday, June the 9th. But guys, we're going to talk about, I realized I've been talking to a lot of new clients and new prospective clients, and it really hit me last week how very frustrating marketing can be for some people and how de-empowering it can be sometimes. So I want to get to the root of some of the frustration. I'm going to talk about budget. I don't have a lot of money, Tiffany. I've got $5. I've got a very few dollars to my name. How can I maximize this budget? I don't have a lot of time. What can I do to make sure that I'm really maximizing that? My results. How do I measure them? How do I know where people are really coming from, where I should put the results? I'm busy. I don't even really feel like I have the brain power to give to this. What can I do? This is so frustrating for me. I've got you covered. So join me next week. And if you're watching this broadcast after the live airing, go ahead come onto my website, and I'll be able to tell you how to find the Marketing Sucks broadcast. This has been your edition of Spirit Soul Business TV. I wrote the book, Now What? With your host, Tiffany Bethia, your Spirit Soul Business Coach, author, speaker, and mompreneur. I hope that you have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your week. Until next week, see you later, guys.